Crow back again doing a video response. Now, it's been a long time since I've done a video response, but it's been even a longer time since I've done a video response to a Top 3 Tuesday. And the reason for that is because the YouTuber who used to do the Top 3 Tuesdays, EdT1138, is actually missing in action on YouTube. He hasn't made a video in a long time. Now, I know he's on Facebook and everything. He just doesn't have time for YouTube, I guess. That's fine. But the Top 3 Tuesdays kind of disappeared with him. But, lo and behold, a couple weeks ago, MichaelBtheGameGenie decided to resurrect the Top 3 Tuesdays. Now, he's already done 2 of them. This is actually the 3rd one, and I was actually just too preoccupied to even think about responding to the other 2. But it was a couple days ago. I was like, you know what? Everything's kind of leveled out. I kind of want to respond to these Top 3 Tuesdays. I was like, I'll just wait for the next one. And here we are. Top 3 Tuesday number 3 by MichaelBtheGameGenie. And this is the top 3 shoot-em-ups. Now, I wanted to choose shoot-em-ups that, one, that I owned, either digitally or physically, and digitally is up in the air, whether or not you actually own it or not, but that's an argument for another time. And 2, I wanted to pick games that not only did I think were fun, but also that I thought that nobody else would pick. Now, the first one on the list, I've already picked these in advance. In fact, I made the intro for this video and the thumbnail for this video long before I even started filming this. But yeah, the first one on my list may actually be on somebody else's list, but I'd be surprised if my second 2 are actually on somebody else's list too, especially the 3rd one. I don't think anybody's thought about this one in my mind for like a long time, but yeah, you know what? I wonder if it's actually too late to change my mind. Alright, the first game I gotta put on this list has gotta be a Parodia game. But I think there's about 5 Parodia games in total, at least ones that are shoot-em-ups. And I'm gonna have to go with Jikyo Oshibari Parodia's Forever With Me on the Sega Saturn. There are actually about 5 Parodia games playable on the Sega Saturn. There's the original MSX one, Parodia's The Octopus Saves the Earth, which was only on the MSX, but I have an MSX collection for the Saturn where that game is on it. And then there's just Parodius, and then Fantastic Parodius, or Parodius Da, I think it is, and that's actually in a double pack on the Saturn. And then there's, of course, this game, Jikyo Oshibari Parodius, Forever With Me, and then finally there was Sexy Parodius. Now, if you're not familiar with what the Parodius game series is, it's basically a parody of the Gradius game series, and that's where the name comes from. It's just a parody of Gradius Parodius, or Parodius, or whatever. I've heard it pronounced several different ways, and I just say Parodius. But just think it's Gradius, but with really weird characters fighting really weird enemies. And the reason I picked Jikyo Oshibari Parodius is because there's a ton of characters to choose from. The graphics are really, really nice and cartoony. That's not to say that Sexy Parodius isn't the same way. It just has an alternate feature in the game mode that I kind of don't like, where you have to meet a certain goal before you get an extra reward, and I kind of didn't like that, so I'm just going to go with Jikyo Oshibari Parodius here. For game number 2, I'm going to have to go with Galaga Legions. Now, when I was thinking of games to put on this list, I was thinking Galaga, but then that got me thinking, wait a minute, what about Galaga Legions? I haven't played that game in forever. And part of the reason for that is because it was a digital download only on the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. But it was actually released on a cartridge for the Nintendo 3DS, along with a bunch of other games, but I really haven't played it. There's actually also a sequel to this, Galaga Legions DX, that was only on the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3, but I actually never played that. So I'm going to be talking about Galaga Legions here. Now, this is a really cool shoot-em-up. It can be kind of crazy at times, but it's kind of based off the Galaga characters or whatnot, but it doesn't really play anything like Galaga at all. You got these swarms of enemies coming at you, and what's interesting about it is that it draws the lines of the path that the swarms are going to come in before they attack you, and that leaves you time to position yourself to fire upon them. Now, not only do you have your regular blaster, but you have these 2 little pieces that are usually by your side, but using the right analog stick, you could position them in certain areas and tell them to fire in a certain direction. So if you could tell that the swarm is coming in from the left side of the screen, you could take those bits and position them on the right side of the screen, aiming left, and they'll fire in the direction and hopefully take them out before they get to you. There's a whole lot of neat, crazy stuff in this game, and I don't want to talk about it too long. I just will say that this is a very difficult game. I could really only get to the 3rd level myself. You really do have to play this a lot to get any good at it. But I think it's time we move on to the last game. Alright, for my last shoot 'em up here, I'm going to have to select Raptor, Call of the Shadows. Now, there's only one of two ways you've probably heard of this game before. The first is that you actually had a PC in the mid-90s, or B, you happen to see it on Steam, or both. But this was a game that I remember playing a long time ago back in the 90s, back when we had 486s. And what was weird about it was that it seemed like everybody had this game. Now, I don't remember if it was the shareware version they had or if everybody had the full version. I know eventually I wound up with the full version of this. This is published by Apogee, by the way. The same people that published Wolfenstein 3D and Duke Nukem 1 and 2. So, you know, this game probably got around a lot due to shareware. And there was a lot of game for the shareware version as well. Yeah, but this is a shoot 'em up that I think a lot of people don't think about these days. And even I forgot about it until I ran across it on Steam. So what we're looking at, and there's actually two different versions of this on Steam. There's the original version and what's called the 2015 version. They're both almost pretty much the same. Each has their own issues. But for the game itself, it's placed like its basic shooter. Now, the nice thing about this is that 1 hit, 2 hits, 3 hits, even 10 hits probably won't even kill you. You have a pretty healthy life bar in this game. But the caveat to that is that once you die, you're dead. You can't continue. And the only way to really gain health back is there are a few power-ups that you'll find in the game as you're playing. But for the most part, you have to earn money and buy them all. So once you finish a level, you'll have to go back to the hangar and buy your health back. It doesn't automatically refill. The nice thing is that you could take your weapons and sell them as well. Maybe buy some better weapons. And there are a lot of weapons in the game. It's going to take quite a while before you can upgrade your plane completely. But yeah, this is more of a nostalgia trip for me than anything else. But it is an excellent game nonetheless. So I don't hesitate for a minute putting this on my list. And that's all. Thanks again for watching, and thanks to MichaelBtheGameGenie for resurrecting the Top 3 Tuesdays. See y'all next time.